Hey guys, so as the title suggests, this attachment I'm about to show y'all is a one-of-a-kind attachment in the sense that Kuhns Manufacturing, not Kuhn that makes mowers and teders and all those type of things and feed wagons, stuff like that. This is Kuhns Manufacturing. They make hay accumulators and grapples. Um, they are the only company that make anything like this attachment. Of course, anyone could buy one as long as they have them in stock. But as far as any other company having something like this, I'm not aware of it. So I hope you enjoy this video on the Kuhns Tie Grabber.
Hey guys, how's it going? I got something new here I want y'all to check out, and it's the Kuhns Tie Grabber. Now this thing is one of a kind. I don't know of any other company that makes anything like this. What it does is it'll pick up 10 square bales of hay. Now if you've watched any of my videos, you've seen me use something similar to this to pick up my hay. They make different sizes. It'll pick up different groups of hay with different amounts in them, from 8 all the way to 15 or 18 or something like that. They got some pretty big accumulators. This is designed to run behind one of their accumulators. The accumulator is pulled by the baler, which I have been using for several years now. No help. Wife is not here today, so I'm doing all the baling myself, and then I'm gonna have to jump on the loader and, well, probably still use it. But this thing right here, once you pick up the bales with these tines, that's no different than mine, the one I use. Pick up 10 bales. One thing that is different is it has this cylinder here to squeeze the bales really tight. This arm over here moves. Once you set this on the bales, this thing moves in to squeeze the bales really tight, and then the hooks go in them so you can pick them up. Once you pick them up is when the interesting stuff starts happening. You can switch to a fourth function. These are actuated by your third function on the tractor. But you have a fourth function automatically when you buy this thing. You get, well, it could be an option. You get another converter, or a diverter valve, I should say, which you just have to have one power wire coming from the tractor. So you turn the switch on in the tractor to switch the hydraulics from the grabbers and the squeezing unit here. They work together. The squeezer goes in, then the hooks work all off the same remote. So then you switch in the tractor, you flip the switch, put the power to this wire, to this valve. Solenoids are right here. Then you have control of this tying arm. This arm will sweep around here once you have it all set. I just have threaded the knotter, so to speak. It has a knotter on it just like a square baler. Anyway, that arm comes around here and brings some twine all the way around this group of bales, and the needle sticks right up in here into the knotter. This is a knotter. I don't know who built this knotter. I'm not sure if it's a New Holland, or for some reason I want to think they ended up with a different brand knotter. They didn't end up using the New Holland, but I do not know the brand of it right off the top of my head. I'll have to find out. But anyway, that's irrelevant. It ties, it's just like a square bale knotter. It ties a knot, cuts the twine, and then when you set it on the trailer, all the bales are tied together in a group. And the advantage to that is, where I live at, you have really steep hills, really rough land, and this allows you to stack hay on the wagons or trailers or whatever you got, and you can stack it as high as the tractor will reach, which is what I typically do anyway. And you don't have to put straps on it or tie it down in any way, and it will ride. Because everything's tied together, you don't have stragglers. I've got pretty good at stacking over the years. It took me a long time to get to where I am, but occasionally I still have a bale here and there will fall off going down the road. You just have 3 or 4 straps on it, and you have a loose bale somewhere that will fall out sometimes. Driving out through the field while you're loading, you might have rough land, steep hill, cause a bale to fall off here and there, or 3 or 4 bales sometimes falls off. Like I say, it doesn't happen as much as it used to when I first started, but this thing right here will keep that from happening, because 10 bales will be together. You stack them up 6, 7 high, I think is what I can do on a trailer, and they're not going to, the top ones aren't going to fall off because they can't. Now if you get in too bad of a place, you could turn the whole load over, obviously, but you can just put minimal straps on if you're going to get on the road. But anyway, that's what this thing is for, and I'm going to be demoing it. It doesn't belong to me yet. It's something that I have an option of buying if I decide that it's something that's really useful for me. Then I may purchase it, but I don't have to. I can send it on, and they're going to use it as a demo unit and take it to another farm. But I think it's really neat. You got a twine box. Of course, here's your owner's manual. You got a twine box. You can put twine in. Comes with 1 ball of twine. I actually bought some of this tie right twine to go on my square baler. I think what I bought though is 170. I think it's 8,500, 170 knot strength is what I bought. So it's a little heavier than this, but it's same brand and same color. But it's supposed to be really good twine. So this is a pretty neat contraption. I want to talk about for a minute here how I got power from the tractor. It worked out really nice. Okay, so this tractor has an option called soft drive, and it's right over there. It's an accumulator mounted on the loader, and there is a mechanical valve that you can, I don't want to go over there because I want to show you something over here, but there's a mechanical valve you can turn it on and off with. Well, there's an option. Well, it wasn't an option when I got it, because when I bought this tractor, because I tried to get them to put one on it, but they said they couldn't. Or they didn't offer it for this tractor yet, but I think you can get it now. That mechanical valve over there, you can turn the soft drive on and off. You can get a electronic solenoid and put on there, and you can flip a switch right here on this joystick. It's already here. So this came factory. This is the third function button to go from. This tractor has a diverter type third function. So what you have to do, hold this button in, then operate the bucket curl to actuate the third function if you got a grapple or whatever on here. Okay, well, to make this fourth function work, you need one other power out there. So this wire, this switch, which was designed to run the soft drive, was already wired in the tractor, and it was pre-wired to this plug right here, which is amazing, because once you do that, I mean, that way they have it, all you have to do is run a wire from here down through here. You got to fish it through the loader, and I came out right here. Now this is not how I'm going to leave it. If I buy this thing, I'm going to use a different type plug, a sealed type plug, and I'm going to probably hook a ground and have a ground also in the plug for future use. But I did put it in a sheath and zip tied everything. Oh, I need to cut that zip tie. And I run it in the loader arms, and I zip tied it, and I run it in here. I run it in this sheath, and I zip tied everything up neatly up here. So the only thing I had to do, and I actually happen to have some, you can buy, this is one of them DT connectors or douche connectors, however you say it. You can buy pins for these. This was already on the tractor. This came with the tractor, but I needed another pin. There was a pin in here that switch was turning on and off, but I needed to be able to hook the wire to it. So what I did was I bought the stuff online to put a pin in here, which I already had, because I had another project that had one of these plugs, so I already had a few parts for it. You could tie into this pin right here. It's on the left side, second one down. If you tie into that, you're tying into this power on this switch right here. And once you do that, you can turn this solenoid on and off from that switch. It's that simple. I mean, it didn't take 20 minutes to put this wire on here and hook it up. Well, it took a little longer than that because I had to fish the wire through the sheath and everything to do a decent job. But anyway, it was a simple install, and once I done that, now I can operate the fourth function on this grapple. So what I'm going to do now, I have not tried this thing at all other than just got the twine threaded in it. We're going to go up to the hay barn, and we're going to pick up a pack of hay, and we're going to tie it and see if it'll work. So y'all come on. Okay, so I'm up here in the hay barn. I got some hay in here. It's sold, but I'm going to play with it a little bit. Hopefully I don't bust any. But I wanted y'all to see this squeezing arm with it fully extended. So this thing gets out of your way to give you plenty of room to get in here to get your pack funneled up in here. When you're driving forwards, you put this thing down just barely over the hay. You drive forwards, and it'll tighten them all up front to back, and then you kind of turn to the right a little bit where you used to turn to the left on this type. On this one you got to turn to the right, so I'm going to have to get used to that because the right side is stationary on this one, or I'm sorry, the left side of this one is stationary, whereas on this one the right side is stationary. So you turn to the right and get the bales against this stationary plate, drive forwards, it tightens everything up as tight as you can get it before this thing comes in and really puts the squeeze on them right before you tie them. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to pick that pack up there, and then we're going to tie it. Okay, so I got it clamped. That was a little bit weird for me having this clamp, but that's something I got to get used to. It's not going to be a big deal. This side being stationary is strange to me because it's opposite of what I'm used to. But anyway, I'll get used to that. That's my problem, not the machine. I will say one thing about this thing. It is a lot heavier than those, with all the extra parts and pieces and twine box and cylinders and knotter. I can tell a big weight difference on this tractor, and I don't know how that's going to work out in the field. I'm sure it'll be okay, but it is a noticeable difference. I just want to be honest and let you know that this thing is heavy. I don't exactly know what it weighs. I don't know if there's a tag on it somewhere, maybe I can find that before I publish the video, maybe not. But anyway, each one of those bales are about 60 pounds and there's 10 of them. So you got 600 pounds of bales, and then however much that grapple weighs. I do have fluid in the rear tires. I typically don't have anything on the back of the tractor when I'm picking up hay, because you know, it's there, it's been doing running a hay rake or a tedder, and you unhook it in the field and you don't really have anything to put on the tractor for counterweight, like a blade or anything. So if I have to, I can get some rear wheel weights. But now what I want to do is switch over to tie mode. So I'll switch this little switch right here. Now I'll push the same button for the third function and actuate the same lever, and it'll cause the arm to start tying. So that's what I'm going to do. That arm's going to come around and you'll see it, and when it gets right here, you'll see this knob right here. It has red and white on it, a reflector. You'll see that thing rotate. That is this motor actuating to turn the knotter and tie the knot to put for the twine. And then once you do that, you can set these bales down anywhere you want to. And once you set them down, you reset the machine by flipping the arm back around. So now, I don't know if you can see it, but there is twine wrapped around all these bales. So now, when you set it on a trailer, they're contained to each other. They can't fall apart from each other. So that is the idea of it. Now, it is a little bit loose right here, but you know, that's not really the concern. What you're trying to do is keep the bales on a trailer and keep them confined. It's not like you're trying to keep them where they won't come apart from each other when you unstack it or anything. It's just basically a you know, a security system to keep all the bales together on the trailer while you're transporting them, and that would definitely do that. So, and now on a pack like this with the tie bales, this isn't as important. But when it becomes very important is when you have bales on edge. If you have an edge system without tie bales and you're stacking them on a trailer, this right here is very important, because edge bales on a trailer, just stacked on a trailer, they won't stay together without this tie system. And that's why they actually invented this, I believe, is for bales that are stacked on the edge, and then you can put them on a trailer and they'll ride without straps, where typically they won't. But in my land, in rough, steep, we really believe that this will help keep bales on my trailers just driving through the fields without having to put straps on every time you move the trailer. But anyway, I wanted y'all to see this thing in action. That's the very first time I've ever used one. It's not that difficult to set it up. Actually, it's not difficult at all. In order to get the twine started, you just run this out to about right here. You thread this twine from inside the twine box through here, and in through this tube. And then you get in the tractor. Well, no, I'm sorry. Once you go through that tube, you tie it to this bar right here. Then you get in the tractor and you actuate the arm. You put it into the knotter. The knotter will rotate. When it gets done rotating, it will stop. It'll come to a stop, and it won't go any further. Then you just run the arm all the way back to the park position, and it's ready to go. It's not hard to thread. So you'll have this piece you tied here. You just cut it off, throw it away. But anyway, in order to park this thing or get it ready to tie again, let's say we want to tie another one. You just get in here, you turn on the solenoid. I'm going to turn it up so you can, I'm going to kind of angle it up so y'all can see it. And you just swipe the arm back to the other side. There you go. Now it's ready to tie another pack. That's all you got to do. So it's pretty simple, straightforward. It's not complicated. I mean, I've figured it out in 10 minutes here already just using it. It is going to take some time to get used to how the different methods of use from the old grapple, but I don't think that's going to be difficult. Anyway, I wanted y'all to see it. You're going to see this thing on my channel when it comes hay time. We're going to try it out. We're going to put it on, we're going to use it, put it out in the field, use it to stack some hay, and we're going to see how it rides on the trailers. See if it stays on there better and stay stacked in the barn better, not fall over occasionally like sometimes they do. It doesn't happen very often anymore, but I've learned how to stack them without this so long. Anyway, but now here it is. If I had this to start with, it would have made things easier, but okay, so I'm going to do this one more time in a more natural way. This machine right here, this device, will typically 99% of the time will be used out in the field. It won't be used here in the barn. You still need to use this here in the barn. By the time they get to the barn, they're already going to be tied. So I want to make that clear. Anytime you're using this, it's going to be right behind the accumulator, which there's the accumulator right there behind the tractor. But you're going to be using it out in the field behind the accumulator. And so you're not going to be using this device to unstack your hay off the trailer and put it in the barn. That's what this one's going to be for, which this one is a different brand that I've had a long time before I even knew about Kuhns. But I do have just a regular Kuhns grapple, and it's sitting outside. But this is going to be what you're typically seeing when you're using this, is hay sitting on the ground out in a hay field ready to be picked up. Now this hay pack is turned the opposite direction from the way I like to normally pick them up. I always typically pick them up out in the field, always, with these two bales towards the tractor. And the reason that is because if you have bales that are a little bit too long, these will hang out too far, the hooks won't pick them up good, and they will fall off the grapple when you start bouncing through the field. So if you always pick them up from this end, you're picking it up from that end, but if you always have these on the tractor side, in other words, if you have the tractor coming in from this side of the pack with these towards the tractor, they're backwards from what they should be, just because I just picked them off of there and set them here. But it's also important when you stack them to alternate the sides that you set them on the trailer. In other words, you put the first layer on from one side, then you'll put the next layer on from the other side, and that alternates this and this. That way it ties them together, which I don't know that that's going to be as important now if I'm using that. But without that, that was very important to tie this hay together, is to have them alternate every time you go up. So those are some tricks that I've learned to make it work better without the tie grabber. But I'm going to go ahead and use this in a more natural setting. You're going to be coming into it with this open, wide open, and you can kind of see. I'll show you what it's going to look like. Okay, so obviously the next step would have been to just take it on over to the trailer and loaded it up on the trailer. But that's what it would look like out in the field. You come into it, you grab it, it squeezes it, it grabs it, it picks it up, you put a wrap of twine around it, and it cuts it. You take it, you put it on the trailer, you release it, you raise it up, you back away, and while you're on your way to get another pack, you reset the arm. But you seen me do that before I picked the pack up. I went ahead and tied this one again, just because I'm playing with it and trying to figure it all out. This is the first one I tied a few minutes ago, but that's it. That's how it works. It's pretty neat, very neat. And now this bale, if this bale was on top and it was trying to fall off, it ain't going nowhere. So, and sometimes on top, these are the bales that will fall off if you don't have enough sticking out underneath from the pack underneath it. These bales, you'll hit a bump, and these bales, if you don't have a strap, will just roll right off the side of the trailer sometimes. It don't happen often now that I know how to stack, but this right here would make it a lot easier and safer, and you just don't have to worry about the hay falling off. So it'll be, if I decide to buy it, it'll be very handy. It's not something that I absolutely have to have, and that may be the only reason that I don't purchase one, but I would really like to have one. It's just, they are kind of expensive, but if you're doing on edge bales, you about have to have one. And if you are a novice at stacking bales, this will make it a lot simpler for you. So just keep that in mind. All right, talk to y'all later. Have a good one.